Hari Om. Om Hari Om. Om Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Well, good morning and welcome to our last meeting before the August break. This makes it bittersweet for this year, but I am looking forward to the break, which should be filled with some nice adventures. So I'll tell you all about that in September. In the meantime, of course, this is our last meeting having to do with Karma Yoga. July has been a month for the study of Karma Yoga, a spiritual path leading to the abandonment of selfishness. As a Karma Yogi, you practice offering your actions and their results, as well as your perceptions, thoughts, and feelings to the Divine Presence. In many Ramakrishna Mission centers, this prayer is chanted by the congregation in unison at the close of a worship service's homa fire ceremony. No matter what I may have done, said, or thought in waking, dreaming, or dreamless sleep, with my mind, my tongue, my hands, or my other members, may all that be an offering to the Divine Presence. Even before fully knowing this presence, you, as a Karma Yogi, hold firmly to the belief that the presence is within each person or other living being that you interact with or serve. Working and abiding in this spirit, you are increasingly able to release attachment to your activities and their results. This yields the freedom and contentment promised by Karma Yoga. As Krishna says at the end of chapter 2, even a little practice of this yoga will save you from the terrible wheel of rebirth and death. Even a little practice of this Karma Yoga will save you from the terrible wheel of rebirth and death. This promise is by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita at the end of chapter 2. So, we're going to have an open forum on Karma Yoga this morning, where your participation, either openly and sharing or just silently participating in spirit, is very much invited. I'm going to read a few things having to do with Karma Yoga, just to give us a framework. This worksheet, by the way, is available to you for download. It's a PDF, so you can open it and print it out even if you wish. But I'm reading from that worksheet. It's just a one-page worksheet. Of course, I've blown it up to big type so that I can read it, but as you receive it, it's just one page. Swami Vivekananda said this: "We are responsible for what we are, and whatever we wish ourselves to be, we have the power to make ourselves. If what we are now has been the result of our own past actions, it certainly follows that whatever we wish to be in future can be produced by our present actions. So we have to know how to act." Notice the emphasis on action. As Sri Krishna says over and over again in the Gita in various ways, this body itself, this universe that we participate in, is the field of action. Vivekananda goes on to say, "You must remember that all work is simply to bring out the power of the mind, which is already there, to wake up the soul. The power is inside every man. So is knowing. The different works are like blows to bring them out, to cause these giants to wake up." So we'll discuss that particular aspect. And Walt Whitman, the great American philosopher poet, Walt Whitman said, "Oh, while I live, to be under the ruler of, to be the ruler, oh, while I live, to be the ruler of life, not a slave, to meet life as a powerful conqueror, and nothing exterior to me will ever take command of me. Oh, while I live, to be the ruler of life, not a slave, to meet life as a powerful conqueror, and nothing exterior to me will ever take command of me." This is the man that Swami Vivekananda called the American sannyasi. Sri Krishna again. "You have the right to work, but for work's sake only. You have no right to the fruits of work. Desire for the fruits of work must never be your motive in working. You have the right to work, but for work's sake only. Somebody's got their mic open. A phone is ringing. You have the right to work, but for work's sake only. You have no right to the fruits of work. Desire for the fruits of work must never be your motive in working." And then from a recent song sung by Bob Dylan, somebody's got their mic open and we're hearing their voice.
I think it's Bhagirath ji.
Yes.
From a recent song by Bob Dylan about this adventure and our work, he says, "I'll do it with laughter and do it with tears." I'll do it with laughter and I'll do it with tears. Yes, indeed. The joys and the sorrows of this incredible adventure of embodiment in time, space, and causation. As Thomas Merton said, how can I tell you what a glory it is to be a human being, that you are walking around shining like the sun? This is the power that is behind, that Vivekananda is talking about. So please, from your own experience, from your own wisdom, from your own understanding, please share what karma yoga is for you. And if you have any concerns or questions about anything that was read or anything else having to do with karma yoga, please bring that forward as well.
I was wondering, did Walt Whitman ever meet Swami Vivekananda?
No, unfortunately not. They just missed one another, which is really a great tragedy. But they just missed one another. But Swami Vivekananda read Leaves of Grass very appreciatively. And that's when he called Walt Whitman the American sannyasi. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, it would have been wonderful if they had met, at least in physical form. Who knows what happened behind the scenes? Anything else from anyone?
Well, I'll say something since it's nobody else is. I missed your Bob Dylan quote, but that's okay.
I'll do it with laughter.
Oh.
And I'll do it with tears.
Yeah. Okay. But I wanted to say about the quote from Sri Krishna, that is a tall order for people in the world today, about you have a right to work, but not to the fruits. And, you know, I really didn't even want to bring this up. I'm just talking to be talking, I guess, but because it's really none of my business what other people do or what the rest of the world is doing. But it seems like it would be difficult to try to follow that if you believe that. And at the same time, be all about the money and the stuff. And
yes,
I just wonder how people do that. But it's
very
But,
few
yeah,
do it. Sri Krishna himself remarks on that. Very few do it. And the way to do it is to offer everything, to live, as Sri Krishna says, sacramentally. That is to say, see everything as evidence of the hidden grace behind and offer it back. If you have wealth, if you have things, practice understanding that they're not yours. You are their guardian or their steward or their manager, that you are doing this on behalf of the divine presence. But as you say, very few do it. 1 in 1,000 is how Sri Krishna says it. And so 1 in 1,000 will seek me, he says. That is to say, follow his instructions. So,
but in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, it is your choice.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Robert.
So if it is your choice, then it is not a duty. It is something that you select to do, or you select not to do, or something you choose. But the way you word it is like it's not your right, or it's not. I'm having difficulty trying to
Well, what Sri Krishna says is you have the right to work, but not to the fruits of work. To work for the fruits of work is to court misery because of the karma involved. Now, as you said, Robert, it is absolutely your choice. There is no compulsion. It is not a must. It is an invitation. All of the Gita is an invitation, not an expression of compulsion. There is no duty in it. As Vivekananda condemns duty as an aspect of hellishness. And you can see this in that Whitman quote. Nothing exterior to me, only what I decide. And this is what the meaning of Vivekananda's quote is. What we have done in the past results in who we are now. If we have intentions to be something else, intentions to be something else in the future, direct our attention and therefore our actions to that, and that is what we will become.
But when it says it is your duty, it seems that that's taking away your choice.
No, where does it say that though? It doesn't say
the word duty.
It's not in there. There is no such word in there. It is there is no duty in any quota that I read, Robert. You misheard it. You have the right to work, but not to the fruits of work. But there's no duty. Krishna is just speaking the reality, but there's no duty in that. It is your choice to seek the fruits of work, to seem to make them your own or not. But there's no duty. The word duty does not arise in anything that I read.
Okay.
Is there any quote that anyone would like me to read again just to clarify that?
Okay, you can. I thought you said it was your duty to not.
No, absolutely not, dear.
Okay.
It is not in that quote.
Okay. I misheard.
Brother Shankara, Somesh here.
Brother,
Yes,
sorry,
and Robert, download the worksheet. The quotes are all there. Yes, somebody else wanted to speak, please.
Yeah, I think somebody else also. I wanted to say something and then somebody else also.
Somesh, go ahead.
Okay. So I always struggle with this. So you asked, like, if I look at it, what is my karma? So there is like my, again, I was going to say the word duty, but like my choice to be a father. So I have a responsibility towards my son. To be a husband, so I have a responsibility towards my wife. And also at the same time, I have I have desires, like I want to be a bodybuilder. So I work out in the gym. So things like that. So which is like very much, there is a certain way I want things to be. So is that not aligned with this? I mean, am I looking for the fruits myself, or like how do I offer in these cases?
Hang on just one second. Could you get me a glass of water, dear? So Somesh,
Yes.
You want to be physically fit. What could possibly be wrong with that? What could possibly be wrong with your desiring to be physically fit, going to the gym? And so your physical fitness, the joy that you take in being physically fit and feeling better, offer all that. All that Krishna is saying is just offer all that. Offer all that to the divine.
For the joy.
That the fruits, you've done the work in the gym. Now you have the fruits of the work. Enjoy, offer those fruits That's the invitation. Thank you. Not a compulsion.
Mhm.
Brother, the other way to, it's sort of like a little bit difficult to follow if we try to, we have desires for and try to give up those artificially. The other way to look at it,
Rajiv, we're losing
can
you.
I identify my highest bliss? Am I audible?
Now we're hearing you. You were breaking up.
Yeah.
So
So,
what is
so
what is your
it almost
statement
seems
and
like,
question?
So if I look at it like this, that can I identify my highest bliss and follow it? Then it becomes very natural to give up the fruits of labor, because you're just in a state of flow where you're just doing the activity because you get your highest joy out of it, and not
Well,
focusing on the results or the desires of.
that is the perfect formula. Identify your highest bliss, bend your efforts, your intentions, and your attention to that. It's like Swami Prabhavananda said, we're living in the West, the land of struggle and death, and we see a shining light in the East, the land of life and rebirth in a spiritual sense. He said, just go toward the light. You will automatically leave the things behind, the things of the West. Now, of course, it is a simple formula for him to say. In practice, it's not easy, but that makes it the adventure of life, or poetry of life, as Vivekananda puts it. And we are not in any way compelled to see things in this way. We are the masters of our own fate in that sense. We're not going to rearrange the universe, but we will rearrange what the universe reflects to us, because the macrocosm reflects the microcosm, says Vivekananda. And this, of course, has also been proven by modern physics. Thank you, Rajiv. Anything else, please?
It's
Brother Shankara,
difficult.
Brother Shankara, this is Swayam.
Yes, Swayam, please speak up.
Yeah, I was thinking from a practical point of view also, and I had either read this or heard it somewhere, but then again, I don't remember the details. But for example, and I'm not a sports player, but if there is a batter and he wants to connect, if his thought is only that I need to connect to this ball that is being pitched, then he has a better sort of odds of making that connection, rather than going to the next thought about, oh, I have to do this, I have to hit, I have to make a record. So that is sort of, again, not thinking about the results, rather than just focus on the action.
That's exactly it. This is what sports psychologists will tell all the people in all of the sports where they're part of the coaching. Just focus on the action. Don't think about the results. The quarterback throwing the ball, he just looks to where he wants the ball to end up. It then becomes the responsibility of the receiver to be there when the ball gets there. And so this, and the great quarterbacks and the great receivers do exactly that. the great batters at the plate in baseball or cricket, they think about nothing but making that connection, as you said, between the bat and the ball. They're not thinking about what happens next. And the same thing is true in golf. The great golfers will tell you. There are the great golfer Ray Floyd said there are 208 things that you can think about that will ruin your golf swing. Don't think of any of them. Think about where you want the ball to go and then make your swing. And so there you are.
The
Thank you,
Shankara,
Swami.
this is see, when you are in the middle of the game, that's how it is. But aren't you, when you are outside, like just before the game, you look at how you're going to win it. You look at that's when you strategize. But when you are in that, like when you're ready to hit the ball, you are only that ball, and that's what matters. But and it may be like my challenge to think beyond what is in front of me, that look at like I would say I tell myself with the big word, like look at the big picture and see how you're going to win this, or how you're going to get the results you want overall, rather than just the one that one ball or one shot.
Yes, well, we of course have to think about how we're going to, Swami used the word practical.
Mm-hmm.
This must all be practical.
Mm-hmm.
None of it can be a matter of magical thinking or, affirmation, this, that, and the other thing. Well, sure, all that is there.
Mm-hmm.
The power of positive thinking and all that. But it must be practical. We must think in terms of practical and what is possible for us. If you going to the gym before you begin to do a particular exercise, I mean before you begin it at all, say, I'm going to do 100 reps of this. Well, what will happen? You'll ruin your body. You'll damage your muscles. So no, you say, I'll start off with 10 reps,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go to 12. Then I'll work my way up to 20, and so on and so forth. We have to be sane, moderate, as Krishna says in the Gita. So no, we must be practical, and we must focus on what we want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that, if we then are in any way elated by our achievement or are dejected by our failure to achieve what we've planned, then we are in some danger of experiencing the karma associated with that elation or dejection. If instead we take whatever joy we feel, whatever disappointment we feel, and offer that to the divine presence and say, these results are thine. I did my part. I did it my best. It resulted in this, good, or it resulted in that, not so good. This is what we're told. And again, to refer back to what Robert was saying, this may be our responsibility, but it is not our duty. This is, what does responsible mean? Responsibility, it means being responsible, being practical. It doesn't mean duty. Oftentimes people confuse those two words, but saying that you're responsible for something means that you are to handle it responsibly, sanely, practically, not that it is a duty. That may have been where the confusion came from as I was thinking about what Robert said.
Brother, maybe responsibility is defined by inside and duty is defined by outside. Like if somebody else tells,
Exactly, Rajiv. Thank you. Precisely. Duty is an imposition. Responsibility is a choice.
Brother Shankar,
Yes, Bhagirath.
there are two terms which are used, the game and,
Please speak up, Bhagirath. We're having trouble hearing you.
can you hear me now?
Well, we can hear you. It's just that you need to be closer to the microphone, I think.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's better.
It's better? Okay. My point is, suppose we take the metaphor of game, then think of Krishna. Krishna was playing a game when he had the responsibility of taking care of Kali Naga, who was bothering everyone. So from the game, he took a diversion, took care of the Kali Naga, and then never played the game again.
Uh-huh.
If we play on playing the game, there has got to be an end to it. And similarly, bodybuilding, taking care of children. Yes, wonderful. But at the same time, you have to put an end point on that one. In all chemistry effort, we have got an end point. After the end point, you cannot carry the experiment any further. So even with sansar, there should be an end point. And that's why I said, when we use the term householder, whether you are holding the house or house is holding you. This is
Very well said.
In our original custom, the parents had to get out of the house in sannyas ashram. They would not live in the same house. And they would only occasionally see the children. So that the burden of, I'm still responsible for my children, at some point, if we do not exonerate ourselves, this is an endless show. There is no end to it. And
yes.
we keep on playing the game in the literal sense. That's what I think bodybuilding, taking care of children, they are time-captioned, time-oriented activities, and we should put an arbitrary end to it that after that, no more.
Yes. And it's represented very nicely in the first stage of life being brahmacharya. And at age 25, the parents' responsibility for that child and their education ends. And it's very interesting that in the world of practicality now, that a parent can no longer carry their child on their health insurance after age 25. When they turn 26, no longer. So this is one of the ways that this is just in some sort of practical wisdom, this is being reflected. So you're absolutely right. There has to be an end point. And again, we are responsible for our children. Anything else from anyone, please? This is wonderful.
Yes. I was thinking about what we've been discussing here, and it seems that it's all relative, because results, you have a result as you go along, and the results keep advancing. If you're talking about the ultimate result of any action would be at the end of life, your total experiences all coming together to represent one thing. And so we cannot have any control of that in any way.
No.
So, but if we're talking about the result for example, take the batter, for example. The batter, when he goes up, his intention is to have the bat make contact with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And when that bat makes contact with the ball, that is the result of that, of his going up there to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take it further and say, well, is the result him hitting the ball, going around the base and scoring? Is that the ultimate result? Or is the ultimate result of his team winning the game? That result, it keeps moving.
Yeah,
forward.
and that's why it becomes more and more imponderable. You know, that's why if you just focus on the action of hitting the ball and leaving the rest to itself, if you hit the ball, then of course it's your responsibility to run to the base. And
Yes,
you hit it well enough to run to the next base.
Right.
And if you hit it well enough, you round all the bases and you've hit a home run.
Yeah.
And everyone exults. And then they go on to the next thing. That exultation, that celebration lasts a minute or two, and then batter up.
So where is the result that we're talking about?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Robert. We cannot know.
No.
And so we should not do anything but offer the action, and whatever the results are, which, as you just pointed out, are basically imponderable to us, and so do not deserve our attention, offer all of that to the divine presence is the invitation from Sri Krishna. And he says, if you do that, then you are free of the karma that is associated with it, which is quite a promise. And that's why I encourage everyone to read chapters 2 through 7 of the Gita and then read them again, because Krishna makes a real case in those chapters about how to behave with regard to our actions, their fruits, and who's responsible for what. And you can believe it or not, but at least that is the great promise. And Christ says exactly the same thing that what Krishna says adds up to when he says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added unto you." All else, no qualification, which means freedom. When one finds the kingdom, which is, of course, a metaphor for that divine presence, when one finds that by practicing relationship with it, then freedom results. Which is
I have an audio book of the Gita on my phone, and they read it to you, and I listen to a chapter every morning. I start at the beginning of the Gita, and I go all the way to the end, and I go back to the beginning again.
Good.
And that just runs over. And I want to let people know it's on your phone. You can just download it. It's free. And the Gita is there, and they read it to you. You can just listen.
Excellent.
Whose translation is that, Robert?
Beg your pardon?
Whose translation is that? Who did the translation?
I don't know. To tell you the truth. It's that's it.
Well, Brahmadas asks a very good question, because some of the translations are quite biased in their point of view. Some are very biased toward Advaita. Some are very biased toward the Vaishnava form of bhakti. So That's the reason for Brahmadas's question.
Yeah, I'm aware, but it's just read straight from the book. You know.
Well, as I say, the translation can be interpreted different ways by different translators, and I have no way of knowing what it is that you're hearing, so I'm not making any comment on that. I'm just remarking on what Brahmadas, the significance of Brahmadas's question.
Yeah, well, you just get it on your phone. You can see what what it's about.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to jump in real quick and just say, Robert, it's like saying there's an app where you can have somebody read the Bible to you every day. There's so many different versions of the Bible. It does matter which one. The Gita is not the Gita, just like the Bible's not the Bible. It really depends on the interpretation and the translation, etc.
The Bible was originally written in Latin, correct?
No.
Greek.
The Bible was originally set down in Aramaic, which is the language that Jesus spoke. It was then translated into Hebrew and Greek, and it is the Hebrew and Greek, by and large, that results in the translations that we have. There are some, for example, one of the scholars at the School of Theology over at, now I'm not remembering the name of the school, it's just nearby. Anyway, their School of Theology, there is a scholar there who has made a life's study of Aramaic, and he has a translation of the Bible that is very different from, for example, the King James Version. So, what is the name of that school?
Erico, or
is it
Eric? Is it Erico? I can't remember his full name, but
I don't remember his full name either. But what is the name of the school, Lori? the one that's just over here, where Lloyd Allen was a member.
You're talking about Candler School of Theology, but that's not.
No, I'm not talking about Candler. Candler's part of Emory.
Oh, Columbia? Is it Columbia?
No.
Y'all, I just looked this up yesterday, okay? It's the guy Riccio. Anyway, he's in Smyrna is where he's located, and he's the one that has written the book and the translations of the different books of the Bible. He has the Lord's Prayer, and I just looked this up again yesterday because I was sharing it with someone. Someone posted on Facebook, here is the actual translation from the Aramaic of the Lord's Prayer. And what it was this very wordy New Age, not a translation, an interpretation. And so I posted, I never know how to pronounce his name either, but I can.
Anyway, please.
Erico? Is Erico part of his name?
Yeah, that's his, let's see.
You know, he's part of Barbara King's church. I can't remember the name, Cathedral of Truth or something like that.
His name is Rocco Erico, and the name of his organization is, sorry, I wish I had this pulled up from yesterday. But this is, let's see. Rocco Erico. Oh gosh, sorry you guys.
Could you just post it in a chat here?
Well,
so we can go on.
Yeah.
Because,
let's just sideline it for now.
Can I just add something? I don't know if he's still at Barbara King's church, but for years he was giving weekly talks on Aramaic, basically different. I'm not even sure what the gospel. I think he was talking about the gospel, the Aramaic translation.
Right. Let's sideline it for now. I was just trying to answer the question that Shankara was asking.
Brother Shankar?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, so further exploring the thoughts that Dr. Majumdar shared a few minutes ago,
Yes.
when we reach the end point, so to speak, of a game that we are involved in, or responsibility, like for example, taking care of the children, and our responsibility ends at a certain point, 25. But can we continue to offer our love and support if they ask for it, and then not expect anything in return, and then give that a Godward turn? Would that be karma yoga?
Well, of course it would be, dear. Of course it would be. That's exactly what it would be. And of course you can, the thing, just listen to this little prayer. Dearly beloved, this day and all it contains is offered to you. All actions and their fruits, all moods and projections, all feelings, all thoughts, all perceptions, all memories and reveries, all knots of the heart, all attitudes, all aptitudes, all tendencies. May all these be offered at thy blessed, beloved, holy feet. May all be an offering to the fire of Brahman. There is nothing left out of that. Everything is offered if we're accepting Sri Krishna's invitation. Everything is offered to the divine presence.
Brother Shankar?
Yes, dear.
Can I?
Oh, let Uma speak here.
Hello.
Please go ahead, Uma.
Yes, this discussion of do your best work, Krishna says, acquire perfect skill in doing action, and then don't worry about results. Wonderful.
Yes.
This one really posed a question when I was teaching MRE students this particular shloka. So many students brought this up. How can you, or how can Krishna say that don't expect or don't worry about results? Because don't you, when you set up a goal, you want to reach an end point, which is success. You want to succeed. If I try business, I want to succeed in my business. If I'm taking an exam, I want to, my goal is to make an A grade or the best way that I can think of. So I thought about it, and so many things came up. Why people misunderstand what Krishna is saying. And as I thought, I came up with this conclusion. And tell me if I'm correct or not, please. What I said, Krishna, by saying that do not worry about fruits or results, what he is saying is that you just, while you are working, when you are in the process of working, focus 100% on your work. Enjoy the process. Don't agonize yourself, or don't be anxiety-stricken. What if I fail? What if I don't get published? What if my business fails? Because when you do that, psychologically, you are moving away from what is actually required, is your concentration, your work. And if you only focus on now what you are doing and get absorbed in it, then results have to follow.
Yes, that's exactly it. But then once you've achieved the results,
Yes.
of course you have to make a plan to achieve a certain outcome.
Yes. Yes.
So, but once that outcome has been achieved, whatever it is,
Yeah.
this is what Krishna says.
Yeah.
He says you have the right to the work.
Mhm.
All that you just described, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of this particular work, some outcome results. What he's saying is have no attachment to that.
Yes.
Whatever happens is what happens. And logical analysis or mindfulness meditation will tell you that there are so many other factors involved in that outcome than your personal efforts that are perfectly imponderable to you, absolutely immeasurable.
Circumstances.
So it even makes perfectly logical sense, which of course it must. It must be reasonable, what Krishna is saying. Your efforts are part of the equation. There are many other factors in the equation, which is why mathematicians and scientists have this incredibly accurate form of notation trying to figure out and quantify and or find a way to quantify in their equations. This equals that.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that they find is the further they dig, the more factors there are. The James Webb Telescope, which was just deployed in this last year and is producing phenomenal results, is raising more questions than the scientists. They're saying it's producing results that we don't have the questions to ask to understand the results already.
And Krishna also says, sharpen your skill.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And he says it's automatic. The more you pursue this, the more effective and efficient you will become. So this is what Vivekananda meant when he says you have to know how to act.
So put in work, do as best as you can, and
Of course.
recognize what will happen.
Why would you want to do less? If you want to do less, then you're doing the wrong thing. If you lack motivation, as we talked about in that talk, Spark of Reverence, work must actually become play. If it's a duty, if it's a struggle, then there may be something amiss.
Work like children play. Work like children. You know,
Yes.
play. Play is serious work for them.
Oh, yes. And they make up the rules as they go along. It's funny to watch them. Vivekananda was endlessly fascinated by children and their games. Anyone else, dears?
Brother Shankar?
Yes, Bhagara.
There are two things I wanted to bring up. Number one, what some Prabhak said, we have to help our children. Once again, depends upon what you call children. Because there is an age limit to call your children children. That age limit expires at a particular point. This is the reason why, while conducting the wedding, I tell the couple, especially to the parents of the couple, that instant availability without constant presence is what is required of you. If they have a problem, let them consult each other so that there is a growth in the human society. So that's number one. Number two, that when we say karma, it requires to be further elaborated because there are two kinds of karma in Sanskrit, sat karma and kukarma. The karma which is good and the karma which leads to a bad pathway. And particularly sat karma, there is no age limit on that one.
Mhm.
So that you can do until the last day of your life if you want to do it. There is no point against it. But on the other hand, when it comes to karma, what I was thinking, for a moment I lost the thread of what I was saying.
It happens to all of us, Bhagirath.
Yes, yes. It is required to be that way. Yeah. For example, the recent history which I read about the past president is a Muslim, Kamal, he just died. But he applied for flying the planes, and he was disqualified. He was tremendously disappointed. But he said, okay, now I will be aerospace engineer. And he became a very successful aerospace engineer, which is an entirely different story. That means whenever you are disappointed, you are not disappointed by your effort, you are disappointed by the result which you expected to come, and that's where you are disappointed.
Yes.
Draw the line on that one. We have no business in being disappointed.
Well, this is what Sri Krishna tells us. Definitely. This is what the Karma Yoga, the chapters on Karma Yoga tell us. You have no business being disappointed. If you do have those expectations, they're just disappointment waiting to be manifested, and you suffer as a result. And that's all that happens. Now, the outcome is the outcome. The result is the result. Your disappointment, your attitude toward it is a choice, not a duty.
But when you make that choice, it should be stressed that disappointment is a part of progress. So that disappointment which puts you down is actually your untoward reaction to the result.
Well, but what is a more positive way? What is a satkarma way to do it? Look at it in terms of what am I to learn in terms of things that I might do in the future. And then let it all go. Swami Swahananda used to say to us over and over, what's done is done. Go forward. Go forward. And go forward with a right goodwill, with a right good zeal, the word he loved, with a right good zeal, and your life will be full of achievement and joy without any attachment to the results, because as soon as they've been achieved, what's done is done. Go forward. What's next? Next.
The point which I lost, I remember now, this is regarding you, Brother Shankar, that you were a sansari yourself. You still refer to your son. You still refer to your wife, but you are away from being attached to them. You use their memory as a part of the growth that they caused in your life. So it is possible, by your practical illustration, that you can be a sansari and yet you can put it behind for the further road to where you want to lead yourself.
Jai Ma, exactly. My appreciation and my love of my late wife continues to grow the more she's contemplated what she achieved in that remarkable life of hers. The son that she bore to the two of us continues to amaze. He continues to become a greater and greater soul. He'll have his 57th birthday on October 1st, and what an amazing man he's become, and what a lovely wife he has. But you're right. There is no attachment in the sense of that you spoke of.
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
this statement that Dr. Majumdar made is, I think, a great title for a book. Instant presence without constant availability would make a great title for a parenting book or something else.
Very good. Yes, I think it was as so often what Bhagirath said is very inspirational, but underneath that, the reason for its being inspirational, it is so intensely practical. So there's wisdom in them there, Bhagirath. So anything else, dear? It is now noon.
Brother,
Yes,
Brother Shankara.
Yes.
The wonderful discussion each one has given. What I understood with the whole thing is that this is the formula for freedom. Like you mentioned, freedom. When you are living moment to moment, every moment has its own result, which is the beginning of the next moment, which has another result, and that's how you progress. The problem is when we are trying to plan so much in future. Like Swami Prabhavananda said to us, one time we were giving him sweets, and he took one and we said, "Sir, can you have some more?" And he said, no more, nothing for the journey. Like they live that life of not planning for the future. And we are so bent on making a security, or that is how we're going to get our freedom of security. But actually that is the way how we load ourselves.
Well, it's part of, there's a folk saying that is part of folk wisdom that says, if you want to make God laugh, just make a plan.
Before God.
And also when you live in the moment, and you're not planning, you don't have the expectation, you can do the impossible because you didn't put those small limited plans. God's plan is so much broader and wider and all that stuff. So you become the word.
If our intention in life is to be happy and free, which all the scriptures tell us is what our goals really are. Happiness, true happiness, and unlimited freedom. If that's what we want, then we have these guides from these great souls that come. And if we do as they say, this is the remarkable thing. We begin to see, I am happier, I am more free. I am more happy, I am increasingly free. And that's why it says, what in the beginning with that introduction to Karma Yoga, it says, if you practice this, then there will be the freedom and contentment that is promised by Sri Krishna in the Gita. So that's our Karma Yoga. Of course, it's not just Sri Krishna's Karma Yoga, it's Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga, which was a reflection of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother's Karma Yoga. We'll talk about all that the next time we talk about Karma Yoga. In September, we're going to take up the subject of Raja Yoga.
Brother Shankara?
Yes, dear.
The days I do what you told me, sit in the edge of my bed in the morning when you start the day and surrender it to the good Lord, to Ramakrishna. The day goes so much better. That reminder, this day is yours to do.
Yes. Most mornings I say, take these days, hours, make something pleasing to your heart and ours. Take care I'm not thirsty, that I am well fed. Lay me down tonight in a restful bed. But there's plenty of pain here, no need to add to it. What you give I take with both hands and in the right spirit.
Brother Shankar?
Yes, dear.
That's one quick thing. When I saw the name Amrapali, it came to my mind that Amrapali was a court dancer who was attached to Lord Buddha, attached in a devotional sense. And it turned her life completely from a court dancer to a Buddhist monk. And this reminds me, Swami, why used to say all the time that every sinner has a past and every saint has a future.
Oh, no. Every saint has a past.
Yes, okay.
Every sinner has a future.
Yes, exactly.
Every saint has a past. Indeed. If we're eons old, and that has resulted in our becoming a saint, we have that past. And every sinner, as Swami Vivekananda points out, with great eloquence and articulation of truth, he points out in Christ the Messenger, his talk, Christ the Messenger, that each one of us is called upon and destined to become a Christ. So each one of us will manifest the fullness of the divine presence that is within us at whatever time is appropriate, as it is appropriate to manifest it, which is exactly what Swami Ranganathananda drives at, and I do mean drives at, in his book, Divine Grace. To be fully human is to be fully divine.
Yes.
So anything else from anyone, dears? This is
Shankara, I'd like to highlight something that you said earlier. This is Amadas.
Yes, Amadas.
You said there are so many factors that go into producing any given result. And that resonated deeply with me because as a practitioner of the healing arts for 30 years, I'm clear when somebody gets on my table, if I know what they need, I am limiting the results by knowing what it is that they need. Whereas if I go into it with curiosity and exploration, then the results are unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal is no longer what happens on the table. My goal is to get people on my table. And then what happens, happens.
Yes.
And as this has been such a rich conversation, I'm up in Asheville right now. It's my third weekend up here. And I've given away several $1,000s worth of retail value of the work that I do. And by doing that, because I'm helping people that can't afford my services.
Good.
And at the end, when I say to them, there is no amount of money that can make this experience more rich than it is right now, I mean that. And I live that. Because money is only a tool.
Okay, Amadas, and remember, it's not even your tool. It's a tool that's been put in your hands to do something good with.
Yes.
So none of this, if we are to believe what the scriptures tell us, none of this belongs to this jiva. This jiva, if we think about it, is a stardust spacesuit that was created by the divine for its own purposes. It is fulfilling those purposes through this stardust spacesuit. And when the stardust spacesuit's time is over, as Sri Krishna says so beautifully in chapter 2 of the Gita, it will simply be cast aside. That doesn't mean that the being that created it is gone anywhere. That being just goes ahead, manifesting and manifesting and manifesting. I'm going to quote two things from Vivekananda that are so relevant to karma yoga. Education is nothing more than the manifestation of the perfection already within. Religion is nothing more than the manifestation of the divinity already within. And when we accept the invitation of these great souls, whether it be Christ saying, "Ask and ye shall receive," Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added unto you, all wisdom and all righteousness, or whether you're accepting Sri Krishna's invitation to, as he puts it, live sacramentally. Live in the knowledge that everything that is and exists and that you know is a manifestation of the hidden grace within it. That's what a sacrament is. It's an outward manifestation of an inward and hidden grace. And so this is the way we're invited by these great ones to live. And so we can accept the invitation or not. And going back to what Robert said early on, his conversation about duty, if we see it for a moment as a duty, limitation, instant limitation, resentment. We cannot feel otherwise about duty. Duty is just something, is an imposition. Responsibility is a choice. So we take responsibility as a choice and see what is within it. And I'll quote again that line from Bob Dylan. I'll do it with laughter and I'll do it with tears. There is no way of living in this time, space, and causation without there being joy and sorrow, light and darkness. And so with that, are there any final thoughts from anyone else?
Brother, but I feel that we can have a control over our suffering in a way that if we become very aware of our suffering in its subtle form, it keeps us moving into more and more hellish states where the suffering becomes very pronounced.
Well, as someone else pointed out at another time, pain is not a choice. Suffering is a choice. There's no way not to experience the pain, but the suffering is a choice. So, very well said, Reggie. Anything else from anyone?
A quick public service announcement, Shankara, for Christopher Isherwood reading Swami Prabhupananda's version of the Bhagavad Gita is one of my favorite things to listen to. It takes less than an hour.
And where do you find it, Amadas?
I thought we found it in the bookstore. Don't we have?
We don't have recordings of it that I know of in the bookshop. I think you can find it on YouTube, all right.
I actually have a CD with it on there.
Well,
I thought I got it through the Vedanta Society. Maybe not.
You probably did. You probably got it through either St. Louis or Vedanta.com, the Hollywood Center.
So this is a translation of the Bhagavad Gita, just that small book that we used to study, right?
It is Swami Prabhupada and Christopher Isherwood's translation of the Gita, and Christopher Isherwood reads it, yes. And it is available as a recording. It's available on YouTube, I know that. It's also available through Amazon, of course, through the St. Louis Center, through the Washington, D.C. Center, probably through the New York East Side Center, but certainly from Vedanta.com, which is the Hollywood Vedanta Press website.
And who is it that's speaking that has the CDs?
It's Amadas has it, and he says it's only an hour, and so it's an audio book essentially, read by Christopher Isherwood. He reads the translation. And he reads it completely without commentary, except for the footnotes and the appendices.
Amadas, would you be able to rip an MP3 of that and put it on like Google Drive and share it with us?
Absolutely not, dear.
No.
No, no, no. That would be theft.
Okay.
We do not do that. You can find it on YouTube and listen to it, or you can buy a copy, but we do not rip and share that way. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about when we're talking about, having a business and focusing 100% on the work while you're doing the work. And I think I understand that. But being a person who's easily distracted, I have found in my own practice that it works better for me to not do that and to know the whole time as much as possible. It's, as you said, as it said, it's not my business. They're not my results. When I do something brilliant in my line of work or just in the course of a day, instead of going, wow, look what I did, I go, look what you did. I do literally do that. And
that is freedom, dear.
I have found it to be, because of course I haven't done this all my life, but since I started doing this, it's like, not this, my house isn't mine, my cats aren't mine, my friends aren't mine, this isn't mine. And it's like, whew, what a relief. And so now I can just show up every day and do whatever they want me to do. And if things, there is no going my way, like, oh, things didn't go my way today, because I don't have a way. I really don't. My way is their way, or the highway, not my way. Because things happen. I just had a really tough week, but I got through it because they were in the car with me, in the hospital with me, and everywhere I had to be with me, and with my mom, and with you, and with everybody on the screen. And I didn't have to worry about anybody. And it was kind of amazing, really.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy. And that's so true. And that's why that song that Frank Sinatra made so famous, I Did It My Way. If you listen to that song, you say, oh, what an absolute prescription for tragedy and sorrow. It is a very sad song, not the way he sings it, but if you listen to the lyrics, because of the pride that's being taken in my having done it. Oh my, oh my.
And one more thing I wanted to share, actually, this thought came to me while we were having this forum. We use water a lot and the ocean a lot as metaphors. And I was thinking, when we are manifesting our rajas, when we're in that phase of our life where we're, making and doing and acting to, put things together and make families and businesses, it's like we're the high tide coming in. If you've ever seen the high tide, when it's coming in, it's like, here we come. And it's all this rajas, and it comes up and it does what it does. But then it's like, okay, it's time to start receding. Start receding back into the ocean of calm. And so it kind of reminds me of, like, the work day, rushing in, doing. And then, okay, coming back into the ocean where everything comes from anyway. The ocean representing Brahman. But just want to share that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And anybody who's ever lived near the seashore and has seen the tide come in and the tide go out, the tide come in and the tide go out. It is a great and soul-stirring lesson in nature and everything that nature is manifesting. It's beautiful.
Brother,
Anything else?
I feel that the tide coming in and the tide going down, it's almost like if you imagine you are at the center, and they say that there's this 1,000-petal lotus. So every petal is like a domain, and the tide comes up and you build a strength, and the tide goes away, but you remain attached and you suffer. And then the next tide is the next petal. And that's why you sort of go through the cycle of tides coming up and going down, and you keep evolving in different directions. And that's why there is this joy and suffering. But if we can have a handle over our attachment and addiction, I think the suffering can be reduced.
Oh, it absolutely, dear. Absolutely. And, you always or often find such poetic images, this image of the 1,000-petal lotus, which of course is an old image, but your use of it was very nice. So, anything else from anyone before we close?
Shankara,
Yes, dear.
if it's no problem, could you please repeat that quote from Swamiji about education and religion?
Yes.
Thank you.
This is not in the notes, so I will repeat it. Education is nothing more than the manifestation of the perfection already within. The knowledge, everything that seems to us that we're learning, he's saying, is a manifestation of what is already within us. Because what is within us is that omniscience, all knowledge. This is why Christ said, you find the kingdom within, all else shall be added unto you, all wisdom, all righteousness. It is finding that kingdom within. So all education is a manifestation of the perfection already within. All religion is nothing more than the manifestation of the divinity already within. That divinity, of course, is what is behind. It is not the omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. That's attributes. The divinity is what is behind it. And so this is what the Vivekananda said about education and religion. Our inherent, our birthright of perfection, which is why Christ could call for that to come forth. Be ye perfect, as my Father in heaven is perfect. Why? Because there is a perfect reflection of that within us. And so religion is the manifestation of the divinity already within. Thank you, Lori. Anything else from anyone? Okay, dears. There's something up in the chat. Can someone read it? What does the chat say? I couldn't read it.
It's about the YouTube video of what Amadas was talking about.
Of Christopher Isherwood. Okay, very good. Yeah, Christopher Isherwood reading his and Swami Prabhavananda's translation of Bhagavad Gita. So, anything else from anyone, dears? All right. Om Hari Om. Let there be peace in outer space. Let there be peace in the sky, on the earth, and in the waters. Let there be peace in the herbs, the plants, and the trees. May the gods be peaceful. May the whole universe be pervaded by peace. Let that infinite, universal peace prevail throughout my being. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we all be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. May we go forward in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. Om Hari Om Tat Sat. O beloved Lord, make it so. So there'll be one more talk during the break. There will be a visiting Swami. The details will be in this coming week's newsletter and on the website. A visiting Swami will speak to us by Zoom on August 7th. August 7th at 11 a.m., regular Sunday talk time. There will be no other talks or classes in August. This is the only time that Swami had available. So this is why. And he's visiting Atlanta at the invitation of some people, I believe, from the Chinmoyananda group. But he's a Swami, of course, well worth listening to. Otherwise, there will be the Chandi readings, and there will be evening arati at 6:30 during the month. There may be a period when somebody else will be doing that, because I have been invited to spend at least a long weekend in Boone, North Carolina, which is apparently a very beautiful place up on the Blue Ridge, Smoky Mountains. So any final thought from any of you?
Brother Shankara, which Sunday did you say it will be?
Say it again, dear.
Which Sunday did you say the talk will be?
Oh, the Sunday will be Sunday, August 7th. So next
thanks.
Sunday.
Thanks.
And the information about the details will be in this coming week's newsletter. So, and it'll, of course, anything that's in the newsletter is also on the website and on the Facebook page. So you can find it any of those three places. But if you're not a subscriber to the newsletter, please do subscribe. It's easy, just go on the website, click on the subscribe button, and it'll take you to the little form. We can't send it to you unless you subscribe. Those are the rules of MailChimp, and they're good rules, so that people don't receive spam from MailChimp. They have to ask for whatever content they receive. And otherwise, if you choose not to have the newsletter or read it when it comes, if you want that information, you can, all the information about what will happen in August is on the website and on the Facebook page. Any final thought from anyone? All right, dears. Until next Sunday, when I will just serve as a host, I won't speak at all. I may offer our opening and closing prayers. I don't know. We'll see what the Swami wants to do. But otherwise, there will just be a host. And of course, the Chandi readings are there. And evening arati, 6:30. So?
Shankara?
Yes, dear.
Just thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful August.
Thank you, dear. I'm very much looking forward to it. I have some plans to read 4 books, to do some writing, and if I'm fortunate, to get out an edition of a publication for which I'm coordinating editor. So we'll see how all that goes. Anything else from anyone? Thank you so much, Lori.
Thank you, Brother
Brother
Shankara.
Shankara, your music, how is it coming along?
Say it again, dear.
Your music.
Oh,
You
quite
said,
well, dear. Yes. Yes, I'm working on that's one of the things that's happening is I'm working on a new song called Oh My Mind. Oh, this is the first stanza, first verse. Oh my mind, take this offered water, ferment it to the wine of self-surrender. Then sing in praise of all prodigal sons and seek the grace of the Holy Ones. So with that, sayonara, dears. Away we go.
Thank you.